Welcome to this module about investment readiness and financing strategies. I'm Alexandre Mencik, and I will discuss with you during these lessons the sources and strategies for public financing. These are the goals of this lesson. At the end of the lesson, you should be able to accomplish the following: get knowledge about public funding opportunities at European level, define the most appropriate public funding strategies, and determine how to apply for public funding. So let's start with the why question. Why public financing? As you may know, 40% of companies benefit from public support in Europe. Public support is increasingly vital for companies and entrepreneurship. There is a huge amount of new public firepower. Let's look to this in detail. If you count the amounts covered by the recovery package for the period 2021 until 2027, that is around 2 trillion euro. That means that around 40% of the EU GDP in 2021 is available in terms of public funding. With respect to the space ecosystem, 21 billion euro may be available to support the space ecosystem until 2027. With respect to the EU space program in 2023, around 2.2 billion euro are available. And the European Space Agency last year had supported a political agreement for a 16.9 billion euro budget for the next 3 years, which is an increase to the previous budget. And with respect to defense spending in Europe, as you would expect from the events in Ukraine, such spending have increased during 21 and last year, and in 21 they have exceeded the 200 billion euro mark. That said, it's not easy to navigate through all available options for public funding, and the success rates remain low. So let's look to the funding opportunities available at European level. These are slides highlighting all opportunities which are available, and I will not have the time to go in detail, so I just will like to highlight a few items. First, they are, if you count all opportunities available at European level, around 50 programs that can help startups and SMEs and other entities. That's quite a lot. In terms of what can be funded, in fact, most projects and activities can be supported at European level. Very few activities are blacklisted and cannot benefit from support. The second takeaway message is it's important to go beyond traditional programs. For instance, Horizon Europe, which is at the center of this slide, is of course the largest program to support research and innovation in Europe. In fact, in the world. And Horizon Europe has specific clusters, including a cluster 4 for digital industry and space, which could, of course, be very helpful. And it has other clusters which may be relevant, such as cluster 5 for smart cities and mobility. And as you may know, space can contribute to such activities. But again, I suggest to go beyond Horizon Europe, also because the success rates, in Horizon Europe are rather low, around 10%, and to look as to whether other programs can be helpful. I won't mention them all here, but just to highlight that the European Innovation Council can support breakthrough innovation across all sectors, including the space sector. In terms of who can benefit from funding, in fact, many programs are available for startups and SMEs. And some programs, such as the European Research Council, are also available for natural persons, such as researchers. In terms of which funding forms can be supported, many programs support a large number of funding forms. In terms of practice, what is most relevant for startups and SMEs are, as you may know, the grants and public procurement for goods, works, and services. Slide continues by listing additional funding opportunities at European level. And as you will note, quite a number of programs space can support quite a number of programs, such as Digital Europe program, which focus on high performance computing, artificial intelligence, and cybersecurity, or Connecting Europe facility, which relates to the three networks, telecoms, transport, and energy, or as well the European structural and investment funds, which are relating to agriculture, development, and other structural and cohesion policies. And you could also seek to obtain loans from the European investment banks. So the takeaway message is here, there are additional funding opportunities at European level which could be helpful. Let's look to the space-specific funding opportunities. These are the four main opportunities available at European level. First, there is the EU space program, and it is implemented in terms of practice by several entities, including the Agency for the Space Program, EUSPA, the EU Agency for the Space Program. Of course, there is also the European Space Agency, which plays a large role in terms of public support for the space system, and then two additional entities, the EU Satellite Center, SATCEN, and the EUMETSAT, the meteorological organization, which will use satellites for its activities. So the main focus here would be, in practice, EUSPA and ESA. And as you will note, there are quite a number of activities which can be supported, ranging from the well-known Copernicus program, but also Galileo, space surveillance and tracking, governmental communication, and also the new initiative for connectivity called IRIS Square. The European Space Agency support a large number of projects and activities, and it's important to know for in practice how to do business with ESA. Last but not least, there are certain defense-related opportunities which can support purely defense project or dual-use technologies which could be useful for both civil and defense. As you may have heard, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization is planning to set up a $1 billion fund, which is not yet operational, but I thought it would be useful to flag that. And at European level, the two main entities are the European Defence Fund and the European Defence Agency. Let's say a few words about how to apply for public funding. I believe that what is useful is three proposed actions. First, verify carefully admissibility and eligibility criteria. This is key because you could spend an awful lot of time drafting a proposal just to find out that you do not fulfill these preconditions in terms, for instance, of admissibility criteria. So it's very important to know very well those criteria to avoid wasting your time. Second, find the right strategy and consortium. It's very important to have the right approach to increase your chances of success and of obtaining financial support. And third, don't give up in submitting high quality proposals. This is essential to increase your chance of success. Now, in practice, how do you know that there are certain calls for proposals and calls for tenders? They are at EU level mainly two main gateways, CETIA and TED, and you have here the links to those two gateways. As I mentioned, doing business with ESA is a separate issue, and ESA has not linked its entry points with the EU, so you have to go to the ESA website to do business with ESA. EUSPA, as an agency, has developed a nice database which can provide additional information. Also important to know, there are several agencies in the European Union, but in particular, two agencies can be helpful in terms of knowing how to apply for public funding. That's HADEA and CINEA. And again, you have the links here. And last but not least, don't forget to go maybe at national level. That also could be extremely helpful in terms of public support, and you have to know a bit more about what can be supported at national level. One way is to look to the national recovery and resilience plans. These are large plans which have been approved at EU level, and so if you click on the website, you will get access to all available plans. And of course, you have many websites at national level, such as in France, Italy, Germany, which list the programs which can be helpful at national levels and how to apply for public funding at national level. So let's conclude by examining how to increase your chances to get funding. I think the key takeaway message here is to focus on EU priorities. Clearly, at European level, what is supported is actions and projects that are aligned with the priorities. And you know which are the priorities, but two key priorities are the European Green Deal and the digital transition. As I mentioned, and it's a key takeaway message, look beyond traditional programs. Don't focus exclusively on Horizon Europe, which is the largest program, but with a 10% success rate. So maybe other programs can be more helpful. Constantly check program documents and calls. This is a moving target. You have regularly new calls coming, and you have to spend some time carefully checking websites to know what's going on. And use digital tools such as the space platform, which I created, because they could also provide useful assistance to increase your chances to get funding. So to wrap up, these are my key takeaways. First, as I mentioned, public support remains vital, and there are 49 European programs that can support. However, only truly excellent proposals have a chance to get funding. Second, the three crises, COVID, inflation, and Ukraine, have resulted in the following situation. There is new firepower and there is plenty of money available. However, there are many entities which would like to receive financial support. And as a result, the success rates have dropped rather considerably. That's why my key takeaway is only truly excellent proposals have a chance to get funding. There is momentum to support space. Space is key for many priorities at European level, and therefore, if you are interested to work in this sector, there is momentum and your chances to get support are rather reasonably high. But authorities tend to focus on short-term actions. They like, as public private investors, they like short-term deliverables. They would like you to be successful in a rather short time period, which means that some long-term projects can be difficult to be supported. And it's an issue which we need to focus on at European level. One key takeaway is to try to find niche. Don't do don't submit proposals which are not unique, which focus, proposes exactly the same thing which has been proposed by others, and try to be disruptive. And last but not least, don't forget to find the right balance. You could be ending doing nothing else than seeking public funding. Don't forget that customers are the less expensive source of revenues, and therefore it's important to find the right balance between seeking public funding and other priorities, which are, for instance, to grow the team, to attract new customers, and to have fun. So I hope you have enjoyed this lesson, and I thank you for your attention.